Okay, we're finally in the 4th region. Nice work, everyone. This is it, the last area. It may not be as big as some of the others, but there's no telling what might await us here. So after everything this crew has overcome, I have complete faith we'll make it through whatever else lies ahead. Stay sharp, everyone. Yes, Master, I won't let my guard down until this is all well and truly over. By the way, do you think it'd be okay if I clone myself again now? No, the risk is too great. Doing that leaves you too vulnerable. How many times do I have to tell you? Yes, you're right. I'll just stay on the bridge like I'm supposed to. Okay, now that we all steeled ourselves from what's to come, let's go ahead and start. What's that? We're in attack. Well, I thought I heard a pinging sound, but I couldn't tell where it was coming from. You couldn't tell? No, I couldn't. There was something unreal about it, almost like an auditory hallucination. Just what you want to hear from your sonar substitute, I know. How would you, Batty? I've been searching all around at max range and sensitivity, but I'm not picking up anything at all. Was that an explosion? Where'd it come from? Oh man, something's headed our way, like right now. Huh? I think I'm seeing something, but there's still no sign of any enemies nearby. Yeah, what was that? An enemy ship fired one of their weaker no phantasm level beam at us. Damage report now. Port side here. Thanks to new upgrades, it didn't even scratch our pressure hull. But I still don't want to take a direct hit from an A-rank beam. Engine room full reverse. And keep us silent. We need to figure out what's going on here. Aye aye, Triton wheel full reverse. Young Goofy, Osaka BGM, tell us everything you can about that attack. I'm sorry I heard it coming, but I just have no idea where it come from. Same here, I think. I could tell from my bound of view that there was something next to us, but I couldn't quite pinpoint where it was. Maybe some kind of sonic camouflage. Are they using it white noise to hide a new sonic no phantasm the way we do it? This is the workshop. It would seem the enemy has yet another new adaptation. I begin studying this new development as soon as we are out of harm's way. Until then, good luck. Bridge, here, copy that. Alright everyone, this won't be the most pleasant voyage, but I'm going to need you all to remain alert for the time being. Then we'll need to up our searching game more than ever. You keep your ears peeled for any sign of enemies. I'm going to head outside the ship for a bit. Sonar Hime out. Wonder what's going on here. We had several of the same attack now, and neither Osaka BGM nor Young Goofy were able to detect the text ahead of time. We haven't even seen an actual avoid enemies this time, just their attack. What's going on here? I don't know, but the fact is, if they want to sink us, we would already be in Davy Jones' stalker. It's the most unpleasant thing I've experienced since my bout with pufferfish textural toxin. I don't know if they're toying with us or we're just getting lucky, damn it. I hate this. I'm back from patrol. You already got the data I sent you, right? Yep, on it. I'm putting the image I processed up on the monitor now. We still haven't even seen the scale or fin of any enemies here, but if we zoom in real tight on this one part, so it's nothing but shadows. Exactly, there's a ton of such grid space here, but I can't find an enemy that's ought to be in the center of them anywhere. We haven't seen a single attack from any of the small enemies, and we still have no idea where all these beam attacks are coming from. That does it. These waters are too dangerous for us to linger for the time being. I say we head back to the previous area. Got it. Actually, Captain, before we leave, do you think we can just try sending out a ping of our own just once? You think we will find these enemies that way? That doesn't seem likely. I think it'll help us find enemies. Either, it would be great if they did, but there's no reason I want to try. I want to try scanning the terrain here to see what's going on with these strange reverberations I've been hearing from the enemy attacks. Like you said, Captain, if they wanted to sink us, we've already been sunk by now, so I don't think sending out one ping is going to get us killed. I see, okay, let's do it, Mash. Get in a defensive position just in case. Understood. Okay, sending out one pulse. No retaliation so far. Well, I just learned one thing. The saber exit is blocked off. What? Here, I'll show you an updated map on the monitor. There we go. Oh, you're right. How can this be happening? The terrain stuff is changing. It has to be deliberate, if not outright malicious. Who's behind this? Why is this happening to us? I know that monster's enemy ship wanted us to stop us from going further, but we already defeated it. Didn't I already tell you? That ship was almost certainly being controlled by someone else. And if that is correct, this mysterious entity can only be telling us one or two things. I'm gonna kill you slowly or you shall not pass. If it's warmer, we're simply done for. But if it's the latter, it will be worth seeing what happens if we comply with Caesar attack. I'll sorry to interrupt, but we have another incoming explosion. What do you say, Captain? Alright, let's give it a shot. Shut the engines down. Stand by, Mash. Keep your guard up. Right. It looks like the attack has stopped. You look pale, Captain. Yeah, you might be right, but can you blame me? I feel like a kid who just had parents take away his checkers set. It's like our opponent's ignoring the rules and pinning me down on my head. If I don't snap out of it, this might even start to wear my confidence in my abilities as captain. Since the attack seems to have stopped, I'm going to lower the threat level for now and take a break for a while. I need some time alone. Got it. Nemo can stay with you? Thank you, sorry, but no, not right now. Ray, of course, I'm sorry, I should have known better. I can't do anything to help. I want to pay Nemo back for helping me, but I can't. Why not? Is it because I'm not really Vangu? No, that can't be. I am Vangu. All my memories and everything I know say I am. There might be inconsistency here and then, but I know I am Vangu. The only reason I can't bring myself to believe it is because I lack conviction. So what can I do to show my conviction? Knowing me, I can. Nugget chewy nagotak. Fortunate language. Oh, hey there, master. Why the long face? But we just saw Captain go into cargo hold looking like he was marching to his own execution or something. Of course, we can just tell how he's feeling anyway, since we're all connected. So when he feels down, we feel down too. Though we don't all feel it the same way because we've got different personalities and all. Sounds like Captain must be seriously bummed out then. Yeah, he's always had a strong sense of responsibility. And he's been feeling bad about bringing us all into this place ever since we got here. Things were looking up for a while recently, but now that's all gone, right? So you know. But we're sure someone will figure out something eventually, so in the meantime we're just keeping busy. Don't worry, things will work out, especially with these cute charms we got for good luck. I mean, Yang Goofy's soul. Looking at the mine always helped me relax. We're pretty loosely defined phantom spirits, so it's just reassuring to get something like this. Man, Yang Goofy's amazing. It's not just the dolls, you know? She figures out what we want and gives it to us without us having to say a word. She hangs out with us during our breaks, plays games with us, sings with us. She helps out with our jobs, even the manual labor. She hangs out with us during our breaks, play games with us, sing with us. Honestly, Yang Goofy might be half the reason the theme was serious, and by extension, Captain has held it together this long. Forget being one of the top 3 beauties in the world. She's more like one of the top 3 nicest people. I hope we get to work with her again sometime. I'll be sure to let her know later, guys. Okay, later, Master. Friend. It's cool in here. I'll leave if you don't want me here. No, you can't stay. I just want to think for a bit. Yay. Lounging around. This is untenable. Longing around. I got something to do about it. Lounging around. Still. Lounging around. You're really tired, huh, Master? What's wrong? I can't figure out this mystery. And that'll help you. I don't know. Oh, I get it. I do that too sometimes because I get tired. Then Papa and everyone else does a lot of things for me. They're so easy. I mean, that sounds nice. Huh? What, did you think of something? I sure did. Oh, then I'll go with you. Okay, let's go. It's very quiet here, huh? Isn't it? Is that? Bloodscenes. Stand back, Master. My, did you think you could protect yourself on all sides alone? I sensed something amiss. And came as quick as my shadow prefect legs could carry me. I should be able to at least keep the two of you safe. It's strange though, Mash. Should have been the first one, especially now that we're no longer on high alert. Quiet, something's coming. Yeah. Huh? Huh, there's so many. Be careful, Master. I'm going to curve a path straight to the bridge. Don't bother with the bridge. Then we go the other way. Answer, then I shall make sure we get there. You and must drench the path in the enemy's blood. More. I need more pain, more wounds, more punishment. But I can't inflict any more on myself. So I have to... someone to do it for me. I love pain. Bengu? What happened? Ah, you're bleeding. Please smash me, Nemo. I don't know why, but I can't die. Isn't that strange? I'm Bengu, but I can't die. What the? Your blood just create monsters? I don't understand anything anymore. Who am I? Am I not Bengu? If I'm not Bengu, then you don't need me, especially when I'm just make monster. So please keep me, Nemo. You're the captain. You'll be doing everyone else a favor. Stop. Yuki, what are you doing here? Right now we need to subdue Bengu for her own protection. Got it. It hurts, I love it. Captain, get Nurse in here. The inferior is not far from here. I'll go get her, Master. I heard what happened. I'll start treatment right away. Keep them safe, Nemo. God, it pains me to say this, but you're probably better equipped to handle this than I am. I'm counting you, Yuki. Almost there. There's a bridge. Now arm for it. Mash. Master, yes, we're okay. You, me and are fine. I'm used to hiding out in this siege. The Marines were a little hanged up, but it looks like they've all recovered now. What about the other sections? Engine room here. We got a few nasty pitting us down in here. Be real helpful if you could send us some help. This computer room needs some help down here too. It's a workshop. Baker and I are both pinned down. Send help as soon as... what's going on? Oh, it's you. Lambda here took care of the monsters in the aft compartment. And they're blocking the way to the shower. I'll pass the engine in the computer room next, but you might want to consider giving the whole ship an inspection to be safe. This cargo agreed with Lambda. Yuki. We need to go over every millimeters of the ship. We can't let a single monster survive. Got it. Okay, I'm back safe and sound. That sure wasn't an ordeal, wasn't it? Yeah, I want to take a bath and go to bed. I do too, but this isn't over yet. We still have no idea how this happened. These monsters appeared out of nowhere. We've been anchored in place the whole time too. Yeah, about that. I'm sure you can imagine. The Neba series know everything Captain has seen and heard. Bengu was covered in blood. And then she started to making monsters out of that blood. Okay, quiet please. I've done preliminary investigation. Those monsters did come from Bengu's blood, but it wouldn't quite be accurate to say she made them. Indeed, your blood merely served as catalyst to summon those monsters. Once the blood is cleaned up, it will no longer be a problem. It may be... well, be some manner of spell activated inside her body on its own, whether she intended it or not. I have my doubts. It's clear that Her wounds were self-inflicted, probably a consequence of her mental instability. My focus on new series is logic and tell me that we can't rule out the possibility that this whole mess was part of an elaborate suicide attempt. Yeah, if nothing else, we know for sure that this monster showed up because Bangu went nuts. I know she was too dangerous to keep around. You're still gonna keep your contract with her master? Let's just take it easy here, Marines. I know your straightforward nature is a big part of your appeal, but to be perfectly honest, I never cared for the way you guys play exclude anyone who's not in your group. Hey, you get to work all cozy in the computer room. You can't imagine what it's like for us being right next to the void all the time. This kitchen, I'm sorry to say this, Professor, but I think I agree with the Marines. I wish you would try to understand what it's like being on the support side, where you can never solve any of the really big problems yourself. Nurse, you must know what it's like to want to get rid of anything that doesn't belong here for safety of the crew, right? This Nemo nurse in the cargo hold. I'm too busy treating the patient to answer right now. Engine room here. Knock the hell off, Bridge. Just cause Captain exhausts right now doesn't mean give you all the right to freak out. Our job is to beat the bad guys and protect the weak. That's all there is to it. So if Vangu is a bad guy, then we'll beat her, but we still gotta keep her safe, so yeah, I don't know anymore. It's my game to cool down off. Like, sorry about this everyone, this memory partition biggest weakness. When things get confusing like this, we end up with all sort of conflicting ideas and discussion just kind of deadlocks. This is awful, what should we do, senpai? First things first. Huh? Take a look at this. This is drawing Cheng Yu left on the wall right before this all happened. Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. I tried to figure out what it meant a while ago, but I couldn't crack it. Wait, did you figure out, Master? Yeah, I know what this is. Huh? There's a shadow on the grid square. We're badly detecting the enemy. Okay, but there weren't actually any enemies there. The enemies were the square intersect. Huh? Wait, is that what the gold piece mean? Oh yeah. Unlike in chess, gold pieces are placed on the intersecting lines between the squares, not the squares themselves. But wait, does that mean the enemies in between the squares? How does that make sense? It doesn't. Besides, you and I haven't been missing anything between the areas, Machan. That's not what I'm saying. What if this board's like monitor? Observe some kind of gap between the space of existence. I think I understand. Hey, yeah, that's something we may have been overlooking entirely. We assume that zero weave spaces are lined up at equal distance from each other, exactly where the lines that make up this grid intersect then. Yeah, that would definitely explain the strange display glitch we're seeing on the monitor. So the very machine we use to observe this and us world has been bugging out. No wait, if these impossible spaces really do exist, maybe it's because observing this world through the monitor actually caused the world to go a little nuts. Hey, yeah. If we can't prove whether the people observing the world have gone mad or if the world itself has gone mad, does that mean using buggy machine to observe the world actually distorted the world's spatial structure, thereby creating gaps between spaces just like the lines on a go board? No, I get the feeling it's actually simpler than that. You're right, senpai, someone must have distorted the voice space at the start of all of this. Yeah, I don't think it was machine did all this. Indeed, it has been a suspicion that it was not a machine that traps us here, but a being. Perhaps it's someone with the same kind of special power we have witnessed, and even benefit from numerous times this far. Yes, since Yang Gufei has the power to project high advanced visual onto voice-based entities, and Vicky Blood has the power to convert those entities into real beings. Then perhaps it was another fortuner who manipulated the reverse side of the world's voice-based into its present form. If that is so, it explains the shape of the gaps between spaces. Especially if you assume that this fortuner got the idea by looking at this game board like monitor and created gaps and all. In that case, since we know beyond doubt that Yangoofy was summoned here from the throne after this incident had already begun, the most likely suspect would seem to be... It's gotta be Vangu. She's the one behind all of this. Aaron, calm down. Let's verify it first. You point at us, find out. Right now, these gaps between space, I'll call them go-board space. For the time being, really do exist. I think we can say that Yangoofy and Osaka BGM have unconsciously been conducting their researches under the assumption that the space we're in now is typically a three-dimensional one. So we'll completely reconsider that aspect while calculating to determine if there's anything that would contradict the existence of these go-board space. Okay, let's put our heads together and construct a matrix function that based on this new hypothesis and update the model once we have. In the meantime, we all need to keep a cool head, and actually, Captain, do you think you can come back here soon? I can't, Vangu is alone right now, and I can't bring her to the bridge now either. That's okay, we'll make it do. You were right on, Master. Once we re-examined our garbage scan data under the school board space hypothesis, all the inconsistency we've been struggling with disappeared. As I found a way to adjust our targeting coordinates to aim these go board space and devise movement spells that would let our weaponry reach them. Now we can finally torpedo enemies hiding out in space between space. All that left is give the signal to counterattack. Right then, let's see if it works right now. I'm sick of tired of getting shot and not being able to do anything about it. Do you really think we could do that now, with all this tension? We have calls coming from the inside and outside the house, but ship, in this case, wouldn't it be wiser to focus on beefing up on interior security first? Not at all. The best strategy is to distract the internal problems to give everyone an external enemy to focus on. You're even more twisted than I thought, aren't you? Just a little Genji humor. At any rate, as a Shadow Prefect, I have my own piece to say. Vanku is innocent. Believe me, I investigated her very thoroughly and I never found a single piece of incriminating evidence. Oh, come on, I could believe that you were a caster or assassin, but a lancer? Ah, well, I suppose I can understand your concern. Besides, she could have glanced at the monitor and it wouldn't take any time at all. And who knows what's going on inside of a forger head anyway. Yeah, we still have no reason to trust her. Yeah. Oh, it's not good. Don't tell me. It's mutating time. Thank you, it's gotta burn. Coop, please calm down, Neo Marines. There's no need for violence. You're tougher than I thought. Ah, there's so many of them. It's gonna be difficult to defeat them without injuring them. Who cares if they got injured? They're clones, right? Just cut them down and be done with it. Nobody's killing anyone. Captain, please say something, Captain. It is bad. The main unit is overloaded. That is starting to malfunction. If one of the clones gets destroyed now, he won't be able to recover their data or the spirit origin, which would cause a whole other set of problems, big ones. We can try recruiting the main unit, but myself, Baker, Nurse, and Engineer all have to authorize it. Anyways, we'll all be killed before we decide on the plan. Come on, stop it, guys. Why are you doing this? We're all friends here, remember? Who's a good girl, I know it. Is something wrong with her spirit origin that's causing this, then there must be a way to fix it. If there isn't, I'll stop her myself, so please cut this out. What? My strength shall lift the mountains, and my might shall conquer the world. There, I have used my weakest attack to subdue all those 13 enemies. Shang Yu. I will, because I initially calculated this incident would be over by now. That seems not to be the case. My apologies, everyone. It seems my foresight was limited with regard to this event. Even so, the fact that you are also alive must mean the 3 things I left to help Master must have served their purpose. Only 3 things? What does that mean? The drawing I left on the wall was not sufficiently clear? And we got your message there. And talk about your 4th hint. Now I understand. Oh, I get it now too, Master. Indeed, of all tricks a culprit to employ. What you guys don't talk about? Don't leave me in the dark here alone. Don't worry, you're not alone. Most of us here, myself included, are in the same boat. Go on, Yuki, just tell us what it is already. Anyway, between the 12 Marines, engineer, professor, nurse, and me, there are 16 crew members altogether. And that's the new series lineup who will be manning the ship for our training exercise today. There are supposed to be 12 Niwa Marines in total. So why are there 13? And it looks like one of them isn't locked out. I really messed up here, huh? I never thought you'd get all of us in one place like this. I can't believe it. How did an imposter make their way into a newer series when we're all using memory partition? I think that is exactly the blind spot the culprit took advantage of. You may all share what you see and feel, but perhaps you were too reliant on your sense of sight. While I'm sure you would have noticed the change in your sheer sense immediately if one of your series were to do something abnormal, or if one of you went missing. There is no way you would notice any change when an imposter who looks just like you did the same, that you received no thoughts or sense from them, made this easier. But I've been keeping an eye on the Marines all this time, and sure none of them got up to indecent. Still, as long as I'm around, I will not let a clone or 2 distract me from my duties. You say yourself that dealing with clones was tough, Raiko. I suppose you're right, Master. I'm sorry for failing you. Depressed. But then who could have the extra Nimu Marine be? Good question, want to take a guess? As according to my calculations. That's okay, I got it. I have to improve it. You are Katsushika Fukusai. Well, guess the cat's out of the bag now. That's right, it's me, the invincible swimsuit swordmaster painter, and the fairy Katsushika Hokusai. Not really. Okay, I just forget you saw that, alright? I just can't pretend to be my younger self, sober any longer, not even to pass this spirit origin scan. So it wasn't your summer self, Hokusai? Anyway, how do you know it was me, Master? Is it because I'm a fortuner? You've been leaving clues here and there. Well, except for the Marines, they all basically have the same personality. You can think them as one person sharing 12 bodies. You notice, huh? Yeah. I drew those little swirl on the cheeks there myself. I thought it'd be cuter that way. Besides, we're having one that's not exactly like everyone else, you know? You were the only Marine to customize their doll. Oh yeah, you got me there. This little doll was so well made I couldn't help but to try and one it up. Those swirls I drew are actually teeny tiny dragons, Triss. I'll show you them later. Anyway, now that's settled. Let's get going. Oh, and if you get bored, you can always take a gander at the picture of scrolls I painted. I also remember the scrolls showed me back then. Oh, I seen that in the database. 2. It's called Kanu Kapusei, or Operating on Gon-Yu's Arm. It's one of the few known paintings by Katsuki Shika-oi that still exists today. It's a bold, gruesome painting that depicts the famous General Gon-Yu ignoring the pain of his wound while playing Go. Oh, you guys remember that painting, Master Mash? Glad to hear you made an impression on it. I'll be honest, I remember the painting I showed you when I saw how this here model looks like a game board. I thought that's it. If I just swap the shogi board out and go for a Go one, I can't lose. So was it you then, Oi? Toshosama's empty right now, or more like he's busy than Tino to the other god. So this was all you're doing, Hokusai? Yeah, you could say that. Mix water and ink into the void. To make these seas dangerous, I've been painting rocks and walls are left. I'm ready to slow you down, master. Added sonar thing I heard about at the workshop to the monster. I got the idea to hide them in a space between Go board space by sneaking a peek at the bridge. And I did all to stop you and this ship, master. But why? In the office for a painter, this board seat place is a dream come true. It's like one giant blank canvas stretching out as far as the eye can see, and all you gotta do is paint while staring into the void. Oh wow, what kind of painter would I be if I didn't try to paint something here? But for some reason Toto-sama wasn't convinced. He kept hemming and hawing whether it was okay for us to paint here or not. So just this once I gave him a bop and noggin and dissipated him and decided I was going to get on the Nautilus myself. Come hell or high water. That was how he ended up like this. And I've been doing my own thing ever since. No way, I don't buy it. You might be a genius painter, but you don't have any skills that would let you disguise yourself as Numeri. Oh, that, I got something of a metaphysical critical when I use like item construction. It let me pass the ship scans. I also lucked out when the Spirit Origin ended up fighting for dominance with my saber OA1, since that knocked out my vital signs. That makes stowing away a piece of cake. You gotta be kidding me. Nothing we can do about it then. Excuse me, can I say just one thing, please? It's a pleasure to properly meet you, Lady Katsuki Hokusai. My name is Yang Yuhan, though I'm historically known as Yang Gufei. I'm also fortunate just like you are. Yeah, I know, and damn, if you ain't even more of a beauty than I heard, I'd love to paint your portrait sometime. So what's a nation-ruining princess like you want to say to a humble painter like me? Have you really sworn loyalty to the outer god? Couldn't be further from my mind. I just want a little time to paint all the pictures I can. You don't mind staying a little longer, do you, master? I'm just asking you to keep the ship here about 200 years ago or so. That way I won't have to stick any more beasties on ya, or friend ya with cannons, or anything like that. You can all just hang out, relax, and enjoy yourselves. How's that sound? Not great, but to be honest. That's so. In that case, master, I think this is exactly what I was summoned for. All I have to do is keep the order. I need you all to stop Hokusai. Being badly understood. I'll do whatever it takes to subdue her. Hang in there, B. Looks like I might have bitten off a little more than I can chew. I can't believe how strong she is. She's something like the profile in database. Is she linked into the other god? Is that all it takes to make someone this much stronger? Still, at least we got her on the ropes now. Lady Hokusai, I have one last question for you. When I asked if you were one behind all this, you said, yeah, you could say that. Now I want you to elaborate on that statement. Tell me, was the being who enticed you into doing this a god or a human? Beats me. All I know is someone called to me and I answered. Someone far away, a voice from the deepest reaches of the White Sea. Then does that mean? Nope, no more yapping. Fights and fires might edo flowers, but battling for no phantasm is us heroic spirit flowers. Bloop 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 on Sochi Soka. JP-rKyECtnz. Impure Dick, in name of Pyro Highness, consort I Yang ties him. Both of you cut it out. Hokusai. Oh, thank you. What happened over there, nurse? Oh, I'm sorry, Vengu surprised me and tied me up. Hokusai, Hokusai, I've been wanting to meet you. But now... So we got yet another breedie on board. I ain't never seen before. You, the one called me here? I called you? Deeper, deeper. Further, further. Ah. I did I? Also, did I hear them say your name's Van Gogh, as in Vincent Van Gogh, the painter from the Netherlands? Yes, that's me. I'm honored to you've heard of me. Now that ain't right. Who are you, really? Ever since I got summoned to Student Age, you better believe it or not, I've been looking up from artists who started painting after I died. That definitely goes for Van Gogh works too. I spent a hell of a lot of time studying his paintings. The moment I took a gander, I could tell right away they were just like mine. Don't get me wrong, it means that the world to me, you know, is one of our biggest names took a liking to my work. But while Van Gogh is not it the Hokusai style, they say he was always more a fan of that Hiroshige's youngster. Haha, and you know what? I believe it. I can practically smell Hiroshige's hands all over Van Gogh's work. That tells me Van Gogh was a guy, not a girl. A naive, sensitive fellow who probably caught more than his share of codes. Trust me, it takes a lot more than becoming a servant to change painter's whole essence. Just take a look at Da Vinci guy. So I know this pot's calling the kettle black here, but I don't know you. Who are you really, lady? You might call yourself Van Gogh, but... Huh? Gut? That's like Lemmon's alter ego special tech. I do hope you like it. I trust you don't mind, Yuki. It seems like she said everything she had to say. Oh yeah, no problem. Good, now you can deal with the bigger problem at hand. I look forward to seeing you how deep your love really goes. I don't know exactly what sort of problem Van Gogh is struggling with, but do we really have no other choice but to pry into it now? I mean, we're under so much pressure and Captain isn't here with us either. Hey Gui. Who's that? It can't be me. Looks like I'm just a nameless foreigner. We call Hokusai to avoid sea and try to kill you all. I don't care about any of that. I just want to talk that, that's all. Can I just ask you one thing, Master? Do you know who I really am? The true identity of my hero spirit? One thing at a time. Okay, let's just take it easy for now. Please tell me. Flighty. That wasn't me. Flighty, 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 Flighty. Flighty, 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 Flighty. Ah, they're all glitching. Come on guys, cut it out. There's a reason Captain's been keeping that to himself. Flighty. Flighty. Right, another name. That was a name tucked away deep inside the knowledge I received from the throne. I see, it's a perfect name for me. Oh, is that why I bloomed? Though you know, Master. Though after hearing that name, I still can't help but think myself as Vanku. I can't mistake his memories either. So, I'll go do my best and die on my own. Somewhere deeper and further where I won't make any more trouble for any of you. Goodbye, Master. Goodbye, Lady and Goofy. Goodbye, everyone. A heartfelt handshake to each of you. Please give my regards to Nemo. Huh? This can't be happening, Gui. Why? It's Saber, why do things never seem to go our way? First things first, we can find Gui once we woken up Captain Melt. Right, it's all confusing for everyone, but we'll do our best to help as much as we can. I'm really sorry everyone, I guess the memory partition logic still has bugs. I'll ask Shion to refine it as soon as we get back to the Wandering Sea. Of course that doesn't change the fact that I pull up all the you in danger, and on top of that, now Vangu's up and disappeared. I can't tell you how sorry I am. I don't think I'll ever be able to make amends for this mess. It's okay, we haven't permanently lost anything yet. Thank you, Yuki. Alright, getting back on track, we need to prepare for the final phase of this operation. Let's start by assessing our current situation. Right, first the Nemo Marines that were behaving erratically are still operating, but with their personality temporarily suspended. The rest of the Navy SEALs are still functioning as usual, though their opinions on what we should do next is divided. That is largely because I'm still conflicted about this whole thing myself. I won't ever let my thoughts shut down like that again though. Sounds like your mind just about made up. I'll go silent Slimer, but she looks sane. Indeed, Totosan has woken up too, though he claims he doesn't remember everything. Maybe so. That doesn't mean we can't let her out. There's no telling when she start acting up again. The professor and I examined her spirit graph, and it seems her skills were illegally modified. Father-daughter bond, the skill she used to fight off the evil god influence, was temporarily weakened. In exchange, her item construction skill was significantly enhanced. Disturbing though as it may be, if this is method the evil god used to influence her, then it's well within our means to counterattack. I've already equipped her with the mystic code that should neutralize the weakening effects. Now all we can do is wait and see what happens next. Fortunately, she has been quite cooperative since her capture, so for the time being she should no longer be a concern. Then I just leave one problem, Vangu. Right, we searched the entire ship to bottom, but we haven't found her anywhere. There's no trace of her in any system logs either. It's like she completely disappeared. Jottomata, a minute. Are we really gonna talk about how she wasn't actually visiting Vangu in the first place? For that matter, who is Clytie person anyway? I'm sorry, I think there's a lot of gaps in the knowledge I received from the throne. Clytie is a figure from Greek mythology. She's not a very well known, so it's no surprise that you might not have heard of her. She's one of 3,000 Oceanids, water nymph, daughter of the Titan of the Seas. Oceanus and wife's sister Tiphys. The story is one of the tragic loves, envy, and desolation. Long, long ago, Apollo, god the sun and the arts, had fallen deeply in love, yet again, this time with a human. Her name was Leucopho. As the daughter of the Orcanus, king of Persia, she was one of the most beautiful women in the world. But although Apollo yearned deeply for Leucopho, he already had a lover. Clytie, a water nymph. Though quite beautiful in her own right, she first despaired upon learning that Apollo had lost interest in her, then grew mad with envy. Shortly thereafter, Clytie began filling King Orcamus' ears with all manners and vile stories about his daughter, with no regard to the truth of her tales. Enraged, Orcamus called Leucopho before him and had her put to death. Apollo heartbroken in his grief, but even with his Leucopho gone, he never returned to Clytie's side. From then on, love would be forever beyond Clytie's grasp. Though she regretted her actions, Clytie could never bring herself to abandon her love for the sun. Morning, noon, and night, she fixed her gaze upon the sun. And in time, she transformed the nymph into a single flower. I never would imagine that Vangu was actually a character from Greek mythology. Anyway, did I get Clytie's story right, Captain? Thanks, Mesh. That's spot on. My first Vangu, her flower girl motive almost immediately reminded me of Clytie, the water nymph, who had fallen with Apollo. The flower she comes at the end of her story is called a heliotrope, which means something like to always please the sun. However, later retellings have often depicted her turning into a sunflower instead. Of course, the Vangu we know also used sunflowers primarily in variety of ways, but so did Vangu the painter. He often used sunflowers in his painting to represent the sun's warmth. In fact, some of his best known works is actually a series of painting titled Sunflowers. On top of that, both our Vangu and the painter Vangu tended towards self-destruction. True, Vincent Vangu was very intelligent, but he also struggled to manage his passion, which sometimes led to him harming himself. While Clytie's stories definitely shows how love can make to do foolish things. I think the fact that her intense regrets made her turn into a flower could also be seen as her need to punish herself. When you think about it, for two heroic spirits with different backgrounds and even genders, Vangu and Clytie do have a lot in common. I guess Vangu's spirit origin is actually mostly Clytie's. For one thing, for Alice shows that she has a high ranking of divinity, something you rarely see in servants from modern eras. At first I thought it's because she's a fortuner, but she's actually a nymph directly descended from the Titans, explaining it much better. Yet, despite that, her memories are all Vincent Vangu's rather than Clytie's. Maybe she's a phantom spirit then. She could also be a high servant. Both her Vangu side and Clytie's side seem fairly high ranked after all. I don't know, but I do know that unlike you and me, she's been molded together from birth to part. Now she takes her spirits with mind and body of Clytie, a female nymph, and Vangu, a male artist. Her very existence is one giant contradiction. It's no wonder she's so unstable. Now I see, that must be what the outer gods are after. You think so? I do, I can tell. After all, in one sense, I'm an outer god myself. So I can understand what they are thinking, though only up to a point. When these gods said about making the heroic spirit we know as Vangu, it must have been for the purpose of invading your world, that is modern day Earth. The way from the outer to inner and from the void to reality is long and treacherous. It is not the sort of path that can be crossed in a single leap. Indeed, even stronger gods could die sudden, death if they were stumbled in the wrong spot. So they must have a place they could use as a foothold in your world, a bridgehead or outpost of sorts. They found one in void space. It is completely unobservable zone, both next to her neighbor and distant destination, reality space, separate only by a thin wall of recognition. Excuse me, I'm sorry for interrupting, but does that mean this mysterious enemy already knows about void space? I would think so, yes. We will need to come up with a means to counter that strategy upon our return. At any rate, we now know that their plans was to send a heroic spirit to void space on expedition to discover more of the yet unknown paradise. To do this, they summoned Vangu to the void, where she proceeded to call Hokusai here and wait for us to arrive. They clearly already have a means to accessing void space, Instead of coming here directly, they chose to send a hero spirit in their place. I cannot profess to know what led to that decision, but given what we know of their goal, certainly their chosen hero spirit must be capable of creating the base operation they might need. Furthermore, if we think back on what Vangu has accomplished this far, we can summarize that she was given 3 duties to fulfill. 1. Requisite local personnel. 2. Create a local base. And 3. Deify the requisition personnel. Now I get it, they plan to use Kaori as fortuners to bolster their ranks. That's correct, Osaka-B. I expect the cost of summoning hero spirits to avoid must be to create for them to amass an army that way. So they must have fought to take advantage of our servants' resource and our access to wave space, which they've done quite well. In answering Vangu's call, Kokusai developed a madness of her own, warping her skills and making her amenable to other gods' desires. This one she has successfully disguised herself. And so the way aboard the Nautilus, the other gods had everyone they needed. Just as they planned, Hokusai transformed Yuki transformed Wisp Sea and went on to paint trenches, battleships, and other grand works into existence. Had we not stopped her, she may eventually succumb to her madness, completely painted a temple of these evil gods that they could use for their outputs. I do not know how they plan to mount an assault on a reality space from there. If nothing else, I expect we would have been forced to give up on the proper paper moon in order to stop them. And that of course would have put an end to any hope we had restoring proper human history. Okay, now that this maybe sounds strange, but coming from me, but now we have come this far. I certainly have no wish to see your world come to an end. Then the other gods must have had Hokusai in their sights right from the start, so when they realized they could have used her Ukiyo connections with Vincent Van Gogh to bring her here. Indeed, that's no doubt the reason they chose Van Gogh, but I suspect their true aims lie elsewhere. Van Gogh never has necessary night is painting capable of swallowing the very world with its alternate depiction of reality. It can transform fortune into gods and spread madness to all who gaze upon it. So once the void space's temple is complete, they must have planned on using her node phantasm to deify other fortuners. No doubt that is the final phase of their plan, the grand mechanism through which these evil gods meant to descend upon Earth. But that doesn't make sense. If Kuro wanted to do that, she could have turned me into an evil god whenever she liked it, but she didn't. Exactly. Huh? Though some type of fortuners may be compatible with void space if they should cease to be servants. Rather, if their inner divinity would take control of them, would they not lose their abilities as well? Are you saying that Guri was going to betray us? No, I'm certain she had no desire to do that, which is exactly why her spirit origin was melded with Clytes. What do you mean? I too had read upon Vincent Van Gogh's history. While some may have called him a mad artist, I could see that deep down he was a man of strong convictions. Though he may have yearned for a connection with the gods beyond the stars, he would never willingly be part of their plans once he learned they were evil in nature. One need only look at the life he lived as proof. Wait, are you saying that the reason Van Gogh took his own life was because he learned that the painting the Syrian night never invited an evil god into our world? I'm saying that if it was indeed that case, then he would have been bound by a similar restriction even as a spirit. Vincent Van Gogh would never succumb to madness, and as the other god's influence, he would sooner take his own life. This must have been a great contempt for the other gods. The noble phantasm desire above all others was viewed by the only hero spirits who would never obey them. So they hatched their horrible plan. They would create their own patchwork hero spirits who would meet their needs. They thought, what if we were to take Vincent van Gogh's memories and talents and give them to Clyties instead? In Clyties' case, she refused to take her own life, regardless of how much she loathed herself, choosing to become a flower rather than fade away. That's the crucial part. Then you mean they prevented their chosen hero spirit from being able to commit suicide as her doing, so it ruined their plans. Correct. Do you remember Van Gogh herself said that she wishes to die but was unable to do so? So the Van Gogh side felt she should die in order to stop the Outgod's plan, but the Clytie side refused to allow her to do so. Poor Gookie, that's the crudest anatomy I've ever heard. Oh, even without those fundamental opposed beliefs Josing were controlled, the sheer disappearance between Clytie's mind and Van Gogh's memories alone must have been so hard for her. It seems the other gods and Manus are inextricably intertwined, fortunate indeed. With suicide no longer an option, if Van Gogh lost the battle in her mind and succumbed to madness, then she may no longer have any compunctions against using her no phantasm. If that had come to pass, it would only be a matter of time until the evil god's temple was complete, just as they planned it. How awful. Man, I know the hero spirits were basically living weapons, but twisting one of us to this degree is just yabai. So what do we do now? Fine, I'll be the one to say it. There's one simple solution here. It's efficient as it's cruel. We honor her wishes, we kill her. Shed the water works. I was just stating the obvious. If you really want to save her, you'll have to do the works of thinking something less obvious. I'll say this, we all agree that she can't kill herself no matter how much she wants to, right? That means now she disappeared. She must have been running around lost and desperate, being able to use her last resort. The fact she gave up on the only way to left to make her wish come true by having someone else kill her may even sign that her master reached its peak. Oh come on, Miss Timeless Beauty. Glaring at me won't accomplish anything here. We all need to be aware that Van Gogh is the only one step away from entering her final, most dangerous phase. If you want to save her from that fate, then you have to rack some brains to come up with a plan that's just kind of wise and smart. If you manage to pull that off, then I suppose I might consider helping you out a bit more if I feel like it. I hope too. I want to stack off more with Van Gogh. Go get Van Gogh. Go woo. I too will do my best to save this poor girl from her sad fate, and your honorable warrior will do the same. And of course, the very idea letting these evil gods descend upon our world is outrageous. That would be an absolutely unacceptable affront to public decency. Young Goofy, Thanatos, no wait. Speaking of Captain Nemo Phantom Spirit, I promise I'll do everything in my power to save her. And if I learn anything about you two over the course of this voyage, acting commander and acting vice commander, it's that you both feel the same. Damn straight. Absolutely. There you have it. We're all of one mind in this. So, will you help us save her to Yangufe? Yes, Oshi. Of course, I'll do whatever it takes to rescue her. But first we have to find her, so I'm gonna have to make use of your nobility. Whether you like it or not, Lady Lambda. We'll also need research, goddess. Anything you can help us find, new weapons, new information, anything will be a huge help. Oh, and we will also need to defeat the enemies hiding in the go board space if we're going to get anywhere. Friend Lady Raiko, I'll be counting on you help with that. As for me, I put everything I have into finding those enemies. We look for them with me, Betty. Yeah, of course I will, you. Sorry, got caught up watching everything unfold that I forgot I'm actually part of it. But yeah, rescuing Professor Van Gogh, that sounds like awesome. I'm gonna work just as hard to make that happen as I did to make my deadlines that summer. Excuse me. Ah, Lord Shang Yu, I'm so many sorry about calling you Hegemon King. Oh no, I'm not concerned about that, as all paths I take are necessary. It was inevitable that history would come to know me by that moniker. I only wish to know if the naval chart I left you was entered into computer's mapping system correctly. Yes, of course. I mean, we never have made it this far in the millions about it. Then why are you acting as though JP-rKyECtnz whereabouts are unknown? Huh? It doesn't mean to find destiny here is. Indeed, I encountered JP-rKyECtnz's disappearance in my predictions. We should therefore be able to find her at the point. Last time predictions show further conflict in the future, so I expect there will be indeed a fierce battle during the final stage of this incident. I also suspect that our stockpile resource will be the key winning this battle, so I suggest we make every effort and ensure we are sufficiently prepared. Thanks, Shang Yu. And Captain, belated though it may be, I owe you an apology as much as time was the essence. It was wrong with me to tamper with your ship without your permission. Don't worry about it. If you hadn't done that, none of us would have been here right now. I'm glad you're on our side, Shang Yu. That was so long. Okay, let me make sure I got this straight. The key features that find these outer guards are: 1. They are huge, gross, and powerful. 2. Our usual physics and Magecraft's rule don't apply, which also makes it hard to communicate. 3. They claim their ownerships to Earth and inventor's right to its life form. 4. If they're actually in charge of Earth, they turn it into something weird and grotesque. 5. Most of them have been imprisoned. 6. While they're generally independently, some of them are allies and some are enemies. And 7. Regardless of what they look like, they are not immortal. Metaphysical or concept beings, they are still flesh and blood creatures with lifespans, just as many as ours. As about sum it up. More or less, I'm a bit concerned that we may be in danger of underestimating the threat they pose, but we can put it aside for the moment. Now I get it. This period is basically the antithesis of the last 2,000 years of plasma optimism. The offer made as Bill be saying, we're not pure beings, man. God isn't real. The only reason we're here is because some gross, disgusting monster made us. When you put it that way, it explains about the unfortunate incidents that have cropped us up so far. You think? Personally, I'm inclined to rate that the whole deal as of a spiritual nonsense. Hey, don't be too quick on dismiss fairy tales, Xian. Already proven we can hypothesize about something like white space after all. Think of it this way, if the world of an intellect we know is the inner side, and everything else is the outer side, then it's only logical from the point of view, everything from ethics to world outlooks would be turned on their heads in that outer side. And that definitely lands some of the ideas of a certain early 20th century novelists. I still do not know, the whole thing sounds like ludicrous to me. You think anyway, let's move on. We're done dealing with outer gods here, the main points we need to worry about are 5, 6, and 7, right? Since they can't make direct moves on their options for intervening here are pretty limited. We might be able to leverage their opposition to one to another as a mass means to drive them away. In the worst case, it's possible to use physical Magecraft and other worldly means to destroy them. Fantastic, I've never seen anyone else craft these ideas so quickly. You're truly a peerless genius. Hey, you know, alright, so what's this opposition about anyway? Ah yes, well, some believe each of the outer gods belongs to one of the 4 factions. Much like the 4 elementals of earth, water, fire, and wind. Personally, I think the idea is preposterous and has no basis in fact. However, it's clear beyond a shadow of doubt that there are some divinities who are initially opposed to one another simply by virtue of their conflicting nature. So some gods are in opposition to one another, huh? I don't know about that, but I do know that Hokusai and Abby do not seem to be any adversarial. Very true, in fact, they seem to be very good friends. Indeed, seeing them always brings a smile to my face. I'm not gonna make a big thing of it now, but hearing that from you, it sounds more like more than a little ominous. Oh, at any rate, there's no telling what the future may bring. The way things are going now, it's only a matter of time until we encounter a fortuner with a clear hostile intent. So there's nothing we can do about that. Well, that is not encouraging. I'm certain there's divinity out there who consider Lady Hokusai their enemy, and the same also holds true for Lady Abigail. If both fortune were to, they say, get into a tussle with their enemies, the chaos unleashed would be akin to hell on earth. And as a heartwarming as that person may be, as a caretaker of this fine facility, I'm sure that is a headache you would much prefer to avoid. However, it bears mentioning that if such brawl did take place, it may actually lead to greater stability than we enjoy right now. Is that your way of saying if we had one of these opposition deities around, they would be deterrent that keeps their enemies in check and stop the various fortunate from going off the deep end? In essence, yes. As they fired best fought with fire, and poison with poison indeed, even incurable poison can be contained with another poison of equal potency. While I can see the sense of considering all fortunate teenagers to remain, I for one am firmly in favor of keeping them around. In fact, I would argue they are very lamplights, keeping the encroaching darkness at bay, thereby preventing a far more disastrous fire from ever occurring. They are in a parallel good omen, here to fend off a threat to humanity from nothing less than another space-time continuum. I think it's way too dangerous to go that far, but I do agree we shouldn't be too quick to get rid of them. After all, if knowledge was power, then the unknown is even more powerful. I agree with that. I too, however, Marshal Gills, there is one thing I would like to ask you. By all means, Madam Saint Suckers. What do you think fortuners actually are? You described them as kind of vaccine encoding us against greater threats, but this is solely our way of looking at it, right? Ah yes, you have touched upon quite the key conundrum. What we are compelled to wonder are they? Shrine maidens of evil gods, vessels, avatars, replicas. I have an opinion on the matter, if you care to hear it. Of course. I believe they are genuine heroes. Oh. While one could certainly view them as a normal class that was created solely as a means of evading our world. The fact that these beings from outer universe can only reach out this world via a throne of the heroes speaks volumes. The fact that these beings wish to come to our world, their only option is to don a heroic spirit. In other words, a human shadow that is left an indelible mark upon history. And what is that but an incredibly binding restriction? It goes to show that even in the face of these outer gods, our world remains impenetrable and indomitable. So why should we be particularly afraid of their outer world madness? We know that humans are more than capable of going mad, killing and destroying even without such influence. In fact, I'll go so far to say this madness creates anti-heroes, which goes on to create legends of terror. And the throne of heroes welcomes all of it. I trust you see my point. The fortunate girls are still in the midst of creating their legends. And they are doing so in exactly the same way as all other hero spirits did during their lifetimes. That is why I have no fear of fortuners, indeed. I welcome all new arrivals from their class. Well, that turned out to be a more interesting discussion than I was expecting, don't you think, Shion? I suppose so. Personally, I am still digesting the idea that new anti-heroes are being created even as we speak. Yeah, Splash. Oh, hey there, Mr. X. Have you been swimming this whole time? I have. We've been seeing things like multi-headed and flying sharks lately. I thought I'd get in some practice battles before the coming season. Oh crap, I didn't realize I've been out this late. I'm off to nab whatever left from the dinner. The X out for takeout. While we are on the subject, where does she fit into all of this? Playing dumb. Getting back on track by hook or by crook if necessary. Oh, say I feel a bit uneasy about one thing. Oh, and what is that? Never has a conflict between adversarial fortune should effectively allow them to cancel each other's power out. Well, if a fortune is capable of meditating such a conflict were to show up, that would be another matter entirely.